This is Bobby Wilder. These are his traits, and this is how he survived 100 days in Project Zomboid. Immediately after spawning in, I heard an alarm going off in the distance. I thought the alarm was coming from the house I was in, but I quickly realised it was somewhere else.
Nope.
I saw the zombies migrating to another house and decided to stay put. I searched the house and found some magazines, including Trapping Volume 4 and most importantly a gun. Although I didn't trust myself to not fire it, so I actually removed the magazine. I encountered a zombie at the front door and had to take it down. After dispatching quite a few zombies, I found a black digital watch. In my personal opinion, the black digital watch is actually GOAT. From a mechanic's perspective, they both do the exact same. I came to the conclusion that the neighbourhood wasn't actually safe and hopped the fence and found some offices that were a little less occupied. I cleared the surrounding areas and went to loot the store next door, hoping it would have some supplies. Annoyingly, it was a toy store, and although I didn't find any supplies, I did make some friends instead. So when I play Project Zomboid, I like to actually take the money from the cash registers. There's no particular reason for this, it's just something extra to do in the game. I personally find it quite fun. I made my base in the offices since they had doors and front and back access. Before settling in, I dropped off my new friends, Freddy the Fox, Paws Spiffo, Pancake the Hedgehog, Fifi the Flamingo, Molly the Mole, Blueberry Spiffo, and the 2 Spiffo backpacks I had found. After dropping off my new friends, I went out to scavenge the nearby cars. I found a garden fork and hoe which will come in handy later. I used my hoe to clear out some of the local population and organise my base a little bit before going to bed. Now, I hadn't realised until a little bit later on, but I had actually spawned right next to the baseball stadium. And it got me thinking, what if I turned it into a mega base, like Diamond City on Fallout 4? I woke up feeling a bit sore from all the zombie killing the day before, but there was no time to waste. I quickly cleared out the remaining zombies that had migrated through the night and headed over to the shop next door, hoping to find some useful supplies. To my dismay, it was a hair salon. I mean, who needs hair gel and dye when you're trying to survive a zombie apocalypse? But luck was on my side, as I spotted a supermarket up ahead. My stomach was growling and I knew I needed some food. Inside the supermarket, I found some sweets and canned goods. On my way back, I decided to grab the sofa from the hair salon and bring it back to use as a bed. It was a vast improvement from the chair I had been sleeping on. Once I had placed the sofa in my base, I decided to take a moment for myself. I used the hair gel to slick back my hair, trying to look at least somewhat presentable in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. After making some adjustments to my jacket and ripped off the arms to stay cool in the summer heat, I spent the rest of the day clearing out more of the local population. Day 3 started off a little rougher than the day before. I woke up late having forgot to leave my game on pause the night before. After making sure my base was secure, I decided to explore the baseball stadium a little bit more and see how many zombies were lurking inside. I cleared out a few in the late afternoon, but it was clear that I had my work cut out for me. Feeling a little hungry, I went to loot some of the cars in the parking lot.
Nice.
I had my fingers crossed that the Gigamart truck would be full of food, but unfortunately it was empty. I settled for the few supplies I found, happy to have found the axe. For dinner, I had half a box of cereal. Not exactly a feast, but it would have to do for now. I spent the rest of my day clearing out more zombies, getting closer and closer to my base. I even found a police trooper hat, which I promptly adorned. I spent the rest of the day clearing out the vegetation in my base and organising a few of the bits and bobs I'd found from the day. I woke up feeling energised at 4 AM and decided it was time to get in shape, so I did some burpees. Pro tip, working out first thing in the morning means you only feel the fatigue later in the day when you're usually not scavenging. After my workout, I decided to wait for the daylight and read Carpentry Volume 1 to level up my carpentry skills. I knew I'd need them to transform the baseball stadium into a fortress. Once it was light enough, I started clearing out the baseball stadium. Turns out there are a lot more zombies than I initially thought. Later that day, I grabbed one of the cabinets from the office and tried to make the base more secure by placing it in front of the window. I didn't know how much it would help, but it was better than nothing. I spent the rest of the day clearing more of the zombies out from the stadium. As the sun rose on day 5, I was already up and at it, doing my morning burpees like a champ. I'm definitely starting to feel the burn, but it's worth it to be in tip-top shape for the zombie apocalypse. After my workout, it was time for breakfast. I dug into some gummy worms and cold beans, which may not sound like a gourmet meal, but hey, it's better than nothing. As I was munching away, I heard a rustling outside. I knew a zombie was lurking nearby, so I grabbed my new trusty knife and headed out.
Oh no, you don't!
Unfortunately, I was ambushed by a sneaky zombie hiding in a toy store next door. Luckily, I was able to fend it off without any major injuries. With the zombie threat dealt with for now, it was time to get back to work. The baseball stadium still needed a lot of clearing out, so I rolled up my sleeves and got to work, swinging my axe till the sun went down, only taking a few breathers every now and again. Day 6 was eventful to say the least. I woke up feeling pretty hungry, and with my food supplies running low, I knew it was time to scavenge. I decided to head back to where it all began, my old neighbourhood. It was overrun with zombies, but with my new gear, I was feeling confident. I managed to clear out one of the houses and found some useful items, including a hiking backpack. When I got back to my base, I organised my loot and rested for a bit. But as the evening approached, I decided to go back out in search for more food.
I'm so fucking scared right now, you shut up!
I cleared out another house, but only found one measly can of fruit cocktail. Determined to find more, I went upstairs and found a small bed. But when I tried to carry it back to my base, I realised I couldn't carry both the bed and my backpack. So I left my backpack behind and headed out in the storm. Jumping the fence to quickly get back seemed like a good idea at the time, but it didn't work out so well. I failed 3 times before realising I had to walk around the fence to get back to my base. It was late, I was tired, and the storm was raging. I was determined to sleep comfortably tonight. When I finally made it back to my base, I was completely drained. I didn't even have enough energy to put up the bed I'd worked so hard to get. I ended up sleeping on the sofa, exhausted but grateful that I made it back safely without running into any zombies. Woke up feeling groggy, but I knew I had to get moving. Went to grab my new backpack from the house, but as I left, I noticed the back door had been destroyed. It looks like I was followed home. Not good. I reorganised my base and managed to put the bed up from the night before. I was starving at this point, so I chowed down on some cold beans and the fruit cocktail I grabbed from the loot run the day before. I knew I had to do something about the security of my base, so I decided to dismantle some of the furniture in the other offices and headed back to the house to grab some more materials to build a door. I need carpentry level 2 in order to actually make a door, so I spent the rest of the evening breaking down furniture in order to level it up. Day 9 started off strong. I found a zombie SWAT man and snagged his tactical satchel and holster for my gun.
Unbelievable!
It seems I got creative the day before and put up a fence as a temporary solution to the door problem. I knew I had a big day ahead of me with clearing out more of the baseball stadium, so I made sure to fuel up with a huge breakfast after my morning workout. The rest of the day was pretty much the same as day 5, bashing in zombie heads and making progress on the stadium. Days 10, 11 and 12 were dedicated to the noble cause of clearing out more zombies from the baseball stadium, inching closer to my goal of turning it into a safe haven.
Eat, sleep, rave, repeat, eat, sleep, rave, repeat, eat, sleep, rave, repeat.
Day 13 started with an early wake-up call. I was determined to squeeze in a workout before anything else. After working up a good sweat, I refueled with a quick breakfast. But here's the thing. After killing all of those zombies for the last couple days, my food supplies were running dangerously low.
I've got nothing left!
So I mustered up the courage to venture into the houses to the north of the stadium in search of some much needed sustenance. Little did I know, trouble was brewing in the form of a mass zombie migration. As I innocently scavenged, I suddenly found myself surrounded by a swarm of zombies emerging from the overgrown trees. Panic set in and I sprinted back to the base, hoping to shake them off and waited out the migration in safety. Hours passed and I cautiously ventured outside once more. However, there was still a significant number of zombies lingering around. Thinking on my feet, I lured them away from the base where there was more space to fight outside. Guess what? It wasn't over just yet. Just when I thought I'd caught a break, another migration began. The horde was relentless. With no other choice, I hunkered down and waited out until nightfall. Slowly I made my way back to the base, dealing with one last stray zombie along the way. Exhausted but relieved, I finally hit the sack, ready to start fresh and face whatever challenges awaited me in the morning. Day 14 hit me hard with the realisation that my food supplies were dwindling faster than I anticipated. Bags of sugar were practically my lifeline at this point. I needed a more sustainable solution, and I needed it fast. Thankfully, the zombie population had dispersed a bit, but there were still a few stragglers I had to deal with in the morning. After clearing them out, I continued my mission of reclaiming the baseball stadium, taking down more zombies that had migrated there. In the afternoon, I took a quick break and refueled on some more sugar and had a quick workout. Feeling slightly rejuvenated, I headed to the south side of the stadium where there was a baseball shop. My hope was to find more weapons to bolster my defences, as I was running low. As I valiantly battled the horde, fate had a different plan in mind. My game decided to lag out on me. The joys of Project Zomboid and its not so friendly optimization, especially when you pile on 50 plus mods. That lag-induced hiccup resulted in a laceration on my stomach. Lag, the silent killer in Project Zomboid, right after overconfidence. Weakened from the attack and facing overwhelming numbers, I had to think on my feet, making a swift retreat back to the neighbourhood, hopping over the fence and back to the base. I traded my ripped clothes for the trusty police trooper jacket I found a few days ago, hoping it would offer some extra protection. The remainder of the day was all about rest and recovery. On day 15, I woke up with determination to find more food. First, I attended to my wounds from the previous day and got things sorted. Then I gathered some equipment and headed back to the neighbourhood in the south to scavenge for food. During my search, I stumbled upon a valuable find. Strawberry seeds. This was an opportunity for a sustainable food source in the future. I also managed to find a few more cans of food and various supplies. But the highlight of the day was a Sandy Watman player.
Yeah, boy.
It was a game changer, as I could now enjoy music while dealing with hordes of zombies. I connected a pair of headphones to the cassette player and enjoyed the soothing melodies of Hotel California while reading the books and magazines I had found. Day 18 arrived with a gentle rain shower, which would benefit the strawberries I planted the previous day. After checking the traps I set, which unfortunately yielded no food, I realised that my trapping skills needed further development. Having reached carpentry level 3 the day before, I seized the opportunity to finish fortifying my base. I swiftly repaired the broken door and reinforced the front windows with sturdy planks. These enhancements would serve me well until I could fully relocate to the baseball stadium. Eager to make progress, I delved back into clearing out the stadium. Taking a moment respite, I checked on the progress of the strawberries. Satisfied with their well-being, I concluded the day by retreating to rest. Day 19 began with an early rise, and I took advantage of the morning calm to indulge in some light reading. Afterwards, I checked my traps, realising my oversight in not having bait readily available in my inventory. Later in the day, I ventured north of the base to scavenge the abandoned cars. To my delight, I stumbled upon a key for a motorbike, a valuable discovery in this post-apocalyptic landscape. Amongst the various items I collected, a machete stood out as a practical tool for defence and survival. I considered that the traps might not be suitable for the area. I crafted a few more crate traps and carefully positioned them, hoping to increase my chances of a successful catch. With food supplies still a concern, I dedicated the afternoon to thoroughly scavenging the remaining houses in the neighbourhood. As evening fell, I took the opportunity to reorganise my base, ensuring that my resources were efficiently arranged and easily accessible. On the 20th day, the morning greeted me with thick fog that obscured my surroundings, adding an eerie atmosphere to the already perilous world. Determined to make progress, I focused on resolving the issue with the traps. After realising my mistake with using the wrong bait, I promptly crafted bird traps and set them up, hoping to secure a renewable food source. With the fog dissipating in the afternoon, I seized the opportunity to venture towards a nearby farming shop. In order to get there, I'd have to go through the school. Along the way, I stumbled upon a mechanic shop. In a world dominated by the undead, the prospect of operating a vehicle held its own allure. Continuously clearing out the vicinity of the farming shop, I paved the way for a future expedition to gather vital supplies. However, my journey was not without peril. A lurking zombie caught me off guard when I was heading home, launching a surprise attack. Fortunately, I emerged from the encounter unscathed. As I returned to my base, a mix of satisfaction and anticipation filled my weary bones. To top it all off, I found my first bird in the trap. I felt a glimmer of hope, knowing that survival was indeed possible in this unforgiving world.